Hey guys. Hey everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Stuff and Things. Sorry, no intro. Was not able to get that going in time for this evening, but we're going to get started here. Welcome to everybody who's hanging out this evening. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about the road to becoming a streamer and what that all looks like and what it's looking like now and all that fun stuff. So, again, this is a live vodcast. So feel free to ask questions, comment, interact, whatever you feel like you would like to do. Pardon me, drinking some water. So, throughout my life, I've worked a lot of different jobs in a lot of different areas. I've worked in retail, restaurant, hotel services, publisher. I was a professional script reader at a point. I was the shipping manager at a bakery. I delivered pizzas. And then most recently, and that's just a few. And then most recently, I was working for an art company. And what they do is they have artists that they commission to do works, and we sell those art pieces, mostly bronze sculptures. We did. I don't work there anymore. We'll get to that. And they have an auction model where they split the sale of an art piece when it goes into their auction, and that's how they make a lot of their money and stuff like that. And then they go to trade shows and conferences and all sorts of stuff and sell bronze statues from this big to life size and bigger. Excuse me. So I was working there and I was doing a lot of work. I was really working hard. Basically doing the job of about 4 or 5 different people. And I was getting grossly underpaid because it was a new venture. He had done the CEO or boss had done this concept multiple times over the past 20 years or so. And but he was starting it over again, a new idea and concept, and making the workforce smaller and stuff like that. So my brother and I we talked with him before he started doing it, and he said, yeah, I'd like to have you guys come on board. And there were promises made that did not come through for a long time, and they still probably would not be there. I'm being kind of vague because I really do like this individual. He really is a good person. It's just the situation was not ideal. Since there were only 5 of us working there, and I had to be in close proximity to a very toxic individual who had been working with the boss for many years. And so we come in with new ideas and integration ideas for moving into the future with the computer and stuff. And this individual had not used a computer before 2 years ago. And so any integration and stuff like that we were attempting to do, he was having issues with. Any optimization of the shipping and execution of everything that we were doing, everything that we were trying to do, he would butt heads with us unless he thought it was his idea or it was his idea. There were many times where we tried to get like the shipping area in one area, but because we did it without consulting him, he would complain, and then we'd have to move everything back. So I was working my tail off for this company and having to deal with this person who, no matter how hard I pushed to try and get things to move forward, he was pushing twice as hard back. And so I felt like I was going nowhere. I tried to negotiate pay and was promised that it would come, it would come, it would come. Just, 2 more weeks, 1 more month, and deadlines passed constantly. And feeling like there was nowhere, I was stuck in the mud, trying hard to get out and just sinking faster. My mental health, my physical health, they both were, it got to the point where I was in contact with another person who worked there in order to make sure that somebody else would be in the office with me and this other individual, because my anxiety could not handle being there with just him by myself. So I was talking with my brother, and he was talking about streamers, and he was like, "We got Ninja," and talking about how much he makes a month, which is absurd, and I'm not ever going to be at that level because I'm not a phenomenal video game player. But my brother was talking about, okay, there are two different sets of people that everyone watches on Twitch. One of them is the uber super amazing video game players that are so good that it's ridiculous, and the other set is people who are entertaining. And I've been an entertainment person my whole life. I love making people laugh. I love telling stories and doing voices and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of glommed onto that idea, like, okay, I can play video games well enough that people aren't going to just be like, oh, this guy is just gross, terrible. Why would we ever watch him? We're going to go away. So, and then I was like, and I can entertain people, which I believe I can. But that wasn't enough to have me fully quit that to commit to streaming. I went to part-time with the company because my wife was on maternity leave because we had twins in December, and her maternity leave was ending, and having to pay for daycare for our children would have cost more than what I was making at the company. So essentially, I would be paying to work for the company full time. And so it was decided I would go to part-time so I could be at home most of the time, and especially when my wife was working, because she works overnights. So that means that the day before and the day after, she is basically out of commission because she has to sleep in order to function as a normal human being. Weird, right? So just that concept alone of, okay, I can stream and entertain people was not enough to go, okay, let's quit this. So I came up with other ideas. A couple of those, the vodcasts, more real life stuff, talking, interacting. Right now, I think I'm talking to myself, but that's all right. I do post all these on YouTube, so you can always watch them later. And so came up with some concepts. One of which we tried a test episode with my dad, Paul Young, the author of The Shack, and he's not a video game player. So trying to teach him how to play a video game while trying to have him tell stories and talk to him and all that stuff did not work out great. We ended up just talking most of the time. And that vodcast idea is called Streaming with Celebs. And it's basically, now what we're going to do is if we find somebody who is a gamer, they will have that ability to talk while they're playing because they already know the game that they want to play and all that kind of stuff. So we came up with that concept, and unfortunately, the people that I know are all on tour and very busy, like putting out albums and stuff like that. So I have not been able to nail down anyone except for my dad yet. But that is the plan, and I'm going to keep researching and getting other people to be interested in doing it and stuff like that. And that brought about the idea, because I had an idea to do a podcast called Stuff and Things a while ago. I just had not been able to implement it yet. So this brought about, okay, I can do a podcast. I have guests or I don't have guests, depending on, who I can get or who is available and stuff like that, because I do have other people that I really want to get in here. Not necessarily famous people or anything, but, people who are doing great things around the world and who are, good people with great stories and stuff like that. So I'm working on getting those people as well. But it's doing the research, it's doing the due diligence to get people interested and say, hey, yes, we might be slow right now, a couple viewers during the podcast live, but helping get this off of the ground floor and getting people interested and getting people motivated to go, hey, I want to watch this, I want to see where this is going. It's a task. But I believe in these ideas. I have other ideas and thoughts that are coming along. And everything that I've seen so far and heard from people who know this industry better than I do, which I am learning a ton of stuff. I've only been doing this for about 3.5 months. And I have learned so much to the point where if I was to go back to day one, where I didn't know, I couldn't tell you what slobs meant back then. I couldn't tell you what a capture card was, even though I don't have to use a capture card, which is really nice. But I couldn't have told you anything. What is the yeet? What is that? Now I know these terms. I know these things that people talk about, and it's crazy the amount of learning that goes into something that is just seems ludicrous in the best way possible. And people talk about all the time, they're like, I don't get it. People watch other people play video games and they pay them to watch them play video games. It doesn't make sense. But if you think about it, people watch athletes to play sporting events, and so you're paying to watch another person play a sport instead of playing it yourself. You're paying actors to tell a story instead of telling a story yourself or reading a story yourself. So there's a big correlation there at the core of it, of it's just entertainment. That's what it is. But with this entertainment, it's interactive to a point. Once you become the bigger streamers and stuff like that, there's always going to be the filters that have to come in and stuff like that. But you have this level of interactivity that you don't have 99% of the rest of entertainment. That's the concept that I'm working with. I'm working with the idea of, I can do this vodcast. I can start talking about my journey, and somebody can chat with me and say, hey, well, what do you think about this? Or what about this? Or how does this work? And all that. And it helps encourage people. It helps bring people into a circle if they have always felt like they're outside of that circle. I've had multiple people, like I believe they're middle school, high school kids, who have told me that they really like my stream. They like my personality. They really get it. And to me, that says I'm a safe place for them to express who they are without feeling like I'm going to ostracize them, I'm going to make fun of them, or anything like that. I give people the space to exist where they want to exist and where they need to exist. And that's a big thing in this world, especially with internet trolls and just the general pain of society that exists that causes people to want to hurt other people. And so I have this positivity within this stream, within what I'm doing, and I love it. It's a fascinating, it's almost an experiment, just to see how people react and how they do things, and you get the false flattery, so that people, because people want you to, there are those different things like follow for a follow, which I don't typically do. I will follow somebody. There's two reasons I will follow somebody. One, I will follow someone if I watch their stream and I'm entertained, and they interact and they're having a good time and they're enjoying themselves. I will watch. I will follow that stream. Or number two, if somebody comes into my chat and they talk to me and they interact with me, and I get to know them that way, then I've gone literally while I'm streaming, I've gone to somebody else's page and I have followed them, because I appreciate that interaction and somebody who's genuinely interested in what's going on. And there's a difference, because there's that where you get the interaction with these people and you're able to communicate with them, and you see them come back because they enjoy the interaction. And then there's the people that I've seen where they come in and they say, "Oh, I love your stream. It's great. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Oh, this is the best part of my day," that kind of stuff. And then they bounce and you never see them again. And you go, "Okay, so does that mean that they're trying to flatter me for my stream in order to get a follow for theirs?" Come back. I try my best. I have 3 children under the age of 3 and a wife that is amazing. And I don't have a lot of time to do this. I'm trying to, this is my job. This is what I'm doing right now. And I'm not making much money at it at the moment. The hope is that eventually I will make enough to help support my family. There's stressors involved with that, with having a family and having a single income earning coming into the house. And that was one of the reasons why I got started a little bit late today. We were having a discussion about that. My wife and I were. But the false flattery is no good. You don't come into somebody's stream and go, "Hey, I followed you. Hope you'll follow me back," and then peace, bounce. It's like, I've always equated it to. It feels like the scene from Dumb and Dumber, where Lloyd goes into the mini mart to grab snacks, and as he comes back out, he sees these guys standing by their van. He goes, "Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later." That's the feeling that I get when somebody comes in and goes, "Hey, I followed you. Hope you follow me." And then they never say anything again. And they never come back again. And it's like, there's no genuine, it's a hollow piece to this whole thing. It's not a genuine, it's a, I want to get my follower count up. Which, okay, that's great. Follower count is nice. But you want the views. You want people to come in because they want to watch what you're doing. They are entertained by you. They're interested in what you have to say, and how you play a game, or any of that. And what's amazing to me already, I've been doing this for 3 months, and I already have people who watch me daily when I'm streaming, when I'm doing this job, this weird ass job. I have regular people who come in and watch me and talk to me. And so I get these feelings like I'm doing something. I gotta be doing something right if people are coming back for this. And so you get that feeling of that, and then you get people who come in and raid your channel, which, if you're not familiar with raids, it's when somebody from their channel, they're streaming, and they're like, "Okay, I'm done streaming, let's go take all of these viewers and push them into this channel. And basically, you get hyped and all that kind of stuff. There are toxic raids, which is really, really sad to me and unfortunate. But then there are raids where people come in and they're excited and they're having a good time and they're loving it. And, I come up with the little things that I do for when people come in and raid. Like I do voices, I do impersonations. So anytime anyone raids me, doesn't matter if it's a raid of 1 or a raid of 20, doesn't matter. I will sing Spider Pig in the voice of Homer Simpson because I know I can do it and I know it's entertaining to people. And I love entertaining people. I really, really do. And so you get those, and a lot of times with raids, what happens is they come in, they're hyped, and then you see it trickle away. Now, for me, I am grateful for every viewer, for every follower, for every subscriber, for every lurker, for every person who comes by and takes a look at what I'm doing. I'm grateful for every single person who does that because nobody has to. Not a single person has to come in and watch you play video games or, like I'm doing right now, having a vodcast talking about life and things. Not one person has to do that. So if you have somebody that's coming into your stream and they are staying or they're just checking it out for just a couple minutes and then they leave, anything like that, that's a gift. That is something you need to be grateful for, and I am extremely grateful for every single person who comes and hangs out, checks it out. I love talking to people. I love the interaction in the chat. That's one of the reasons why I play Fortnite so much, is because I'm able to kind of split my focus. I can play the game, but there's a lot of downtime where you're running or you're doing stuff like that. I think my daughter is scratching at the door. But I'm able to, okay, somebody said something in the chat. I can respond to that and go back and forth. And so I have that ability to do that playing that particular game. Because I know I'm not the best at video games. I have it in my chat rules. When you first come in and you try to chat, it'll give you all the rules. One of those rules is I know I'm not great at video games, so you don't have to remind me constantly. I actually had a guy come in who was trying to be a troll, trying to get a rise out of me. And it was hilarious because the first message got auto-modded because he used some coarse language. So he modified it to say, "You are trash, bro. I would destroy you in a 1v1 match anytime." I know there are a lot of gamers out there that take great pride in how well they play a video game and how well they do. And something like that can hit them in a spot where they're like, "Oh, how dare you?" But for me, I'm like, dude, did you read the chat rules? That's what I said. Basically, I said, yeah, you probably would. You would probably destroy me in a 1v1 match. So there you go. Have a good day. But this avenue of entertainment and interaction is absolutely fascinating to me. I am enjoying it. And there are days where I feel very disappointed and I feel like things aren't happening the way that I want them to happen. But then there are days where I got up to 38 viewers one day because I got triple rated during a stream. 3 different people rated my stream and brought in 38 people. And it's those times where you're like, okay, it's double-edged. Because you're like, like I said, I'm grateful for every single person who comes in. Whether they stay or not, my stream is not going to be for everybody. There are people out there who are like, I only want to watch the best gamers. That's it. They're never going to watch my channel. Or maybe I'll be the exception where they go, but this guy, he's fun to watch. And maybe they'll watch me. Who knows? But I am grateful for every single person who even checks out my channel for a couple seconds. Because I know when I first started, that's what I was doing. I was just looking through and, oh, who's this person? Let's take a look. And I'd sit and watch for about a minute and then be like, yeah, well, I'll try somebody else. And, you know, you never know who's out there watching and who's going to go, let me try this guy out for a minute. And then 20 minutes later, they're like, whoa, where'd the time go? I've done that with some streamers where I get out there and I'm like, yeah, I'll just try it. And I actually ended up in a Discord community that is an extremely supportive Discord community with some people that I am proud to call, you know, online friends, I guess. And I'm sure we'd be great, grand friends in real life if when we meet. It's the Twitch crew community. And I ran into them because I was going to streams and following some people that I was enjoying watching and letting them know that I followed them because I'm trying, you know, and I would go to the people who had like 2 to 20 viewers watching them. And I'd just say, hey, I'm just following some streamers just to, you know, try and support fellow streamers. And some of those people would be like, all right, man, I'll follow you back. And I'm like, that's great. Thank you so much. Again, a gift. It's not an expectation. If you start expecting people to watch you, to sub to you, to chat with you, to do any of that, you got the wrong mindset. You really do. That expectation has got to leave your mind. You can't expect it to happen. You have to be grateful that it happens. And this person, it's that guy Hugs, and that's where I went, and I was watching him, and he's super entertaining. And I don't see him online very much, which is it's a shame to me, because he just exudes that positivity and that joy of playing video games and stuff like that. He was like, hey, you should join this community on Discord. And I did. And I met all these other people, and there are some of these people that I've watched stream, and they're extremely fun to watch. And so I built a community through that, and then there have been others that have kind of flowed and ebbed, and you know, and you kind of figure out what works, what doesn't, because it's not a cookie cutter process. What works for one person might not work for another person at all. My process of just kind of chatting with some people and getting to know some people, and hey, you know, I want to support this person, and I want to support this person and do this and this and this. That might not work for somebody else. The personality of the person might be such that, you know, they attract more of an abrasive type of personality, which can be very entertaining as well. You know, you get the people who kind of rag on each other, but it's good natured and stuff like that. Like I said, there's very toxic stuff that is on the internet, and there is a group of toxic raiders that make it their mission to go and try and destroy streamers, which is really, really disheartening. That there is so much pain within these people that they feel like they have to try and get rid of some of it at another person. And it just, that kind of stuff breaks my heart, because I would love to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with people just to figure out and find out why they do what they do. It doesn't make sense in my brain. I get anxiety and when trolls come into my chat. And the anxiety comes from the fact that it is so polar opposite to who I am that it kind of takes me off guard. I know I need thicker skin. I'm working on that. I'm getting there. But I genuinely love to have people feel good about themselves and want to exist in this world and be a part of something. And, you know, it's fascinating. I feel like I've gone down a rabbit hole. I don't even remember where I was. If anybody watching remembers any point that they would like to elaborate on, let me know. So one thing that I have noticed, and it's been very interesting, is on Twitter, there's a lot of streamers that I'm following and stuff just to see kind of what they post and how they do things and how they interact and all that kind of stuff. And one thing that I've noticed that's very interesting is I have, what is it, 159. All right, okay, almost 160 followers. Wow, which is crazy. For 3 months of doing this, I have 160 followers. Active followers, I would probably put it around 20% of that, which seems to be pretty normal. I mean, you have, unless you're one of the biggest streamers, you're not gonna get active followers with everybody. I mean, you're just not. It's statistically improbable that all your followers. So I have 159 followers, and I have, I think, 13 or 14 subscribers. And I'm like, okay, all right, so I've got that going. That's great. And then I see some of these streamers on Twitter, and they're putting up, I'm going for 2,000 followers, and I have 3 subscribers. And it makes me think, I'm like, okay, the ratio here, there's a huge discrepancy. I'm sitting at almost 10%, which I feel like is phenomenal. 10% of the following that I have is subscribed to me. Almost, not quite. But these people are at like 0.1% of subscribers to followers. So my curiosity is this a follow for a follow situation where they've gone in and they've just followed a ton of people in hopes that they would follow them back, and then they do follow them back, and they are not ever going to be an active viewer because the follow for a follow feels like, well, as long as I have enough people that I'm following that they follow me back, but you don't have enough time to really focus on those follows because you're just it's a mass production of follows. So that's one thought that I have of why that might be. Another thought that I have is I honestly have no idea what the algorithm is to get people to watch you and to subscribe to you. And I understand there's a lot of people out there who are streaming and they're trying to make it like I am. Like right now, I subscribe to 2 people, I think, to 2 streamers, and I use my Twitch Prime subscription for somebody new every month when I can. Just because I know other people are trying to make it just like I am. I can't afford to subscribe to people past what I am doing right now. I can't afford it at the moment. My hope is that eventually I get to this point where I have enough income that I can set aside money within my company to just say, okay, these are for subscriptions. This set amount of money is for subscriptions. Let's go out there. Let's find good streamers that are entertaining, that are great at video games, that are whatever, that we enjoy watching, and let's subscribe to them. And this set amount of money will be for subscriptions, and for cheering them on and all this kind of stuff, because I want people to succeed. I like to steal. There's a there's a little business here in the Northwest called Pip's Donuts, which if you ever come to the Portland area in Oregon, you gotta go to Pip's Donuts. It is phenomenal. They have little donuts, and they do things like candied bacon and Nutella and cinnamon sugar, and they have their seasonal flavors, which are oftentimes some sort of fruit on top, and it's just, they're so good, and their philosophy is community over competition, and I firmly believe in that, because yeah, you can get to the top and look down at everybody below you. That's one way to do it. But I'd rather have a ton of people with me at the top going, wait, are we all here? Are we all here? Are we good? I don't see anybody else down there. I want people to succeed. I want people to feel like they've made something of what they're trying to accomplish. I really do. That is like, that's me in a nutshell. I basically, okay, my family comes first, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, if something came up and it came between, well, you need to be here on this day or you're fired, and it was a family emergency that I had to attend to, I would get fired, because my family comes first 100% of the time. And yes, I know there's the nuances of, well, then you're not making the money and blah, blah, blah. Those are tiny pieces of the puzzle, the tiny pieces of what, but my family is my motivation. Completely. Without a doubt. And the other part of me that's outside of taking care of my family is, I truly enjoy watching people be happy and succeed at things that they love. I really do. It brings joy to my heart. It brings me into a better mental space. If I like what you're doing, if I really appreciate something that you do, this goes, I mean, I've done it with companies, I've done it with, individuals. I will talk you up until people are sick of hearing about it. Not quite that much, because I don't want them to get sick of, I've heard about you in such a good light, but it's gotten annoying. But like, with Pip's Donuts, like I said, they are they care about the community. They care about what they're doing so much. And they get business, man. I tell you, you could go there and be standing in line for an hour waiting for donuts, and it's worth it. It is worth it to wait in line there. One, because the donuts are amazing, and their chai teas. They have different chai teas there that are really, really good. And two, because they're good people. They really are. They care, and they're not out there for the profit of it. But the profit is a nice bonus. But they're there because they love to be there and want to be there. So, that's just kind of where my brain is. The issue right now is, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to remedy this, to get it, to change it, is we are single income right now. And my wife works as a nurse, and I am not making money at the moment. I make little, pardon the pun, bits here and there. I've been donated to a little bit. I have, like I said, 13, 14 subscribers. But it's not enough. And so we are trying to come up with a timeline of how long I can continue to do this in an attempt to make it fiscally feasible. Because, like I said, it's what I do is not monetarily motivated past taking care of my family. Anything past that is amazing and wonderful, and I want to, help other people out once I get to that point. But I have to take care of my family. And so I think we've settled on 1 year. Within 1 year, this has to be fiscally feasible for our family to live on. Or I'm going to try something else. Get a different job and do that. And I really, really do want this to work. I think it will work. I think it can work. It's just a lot of work. and I'm okay with that. I'm used to working my ass off to, you know, to do my job. And it's a weird job. I do have to say it's very odd because I never thought that I would be a 36-year-old human being going, I'm going to stream video games. But here I am. And like I said, I have other ideas. I do have other things that are in the works, but they keep getting pushed off because I am a film and television person. I went to film school, and that's my truest passion is storytelling. And so, you know, I have all that, but a lot of things are just kind of that. In the film industry, we call it hurry up and wait. You get a concept, you get people interested, but the funding doesn't come through. So you have to pitch it to other people. And everybody's ready. They're at the starting line. They're like, okay, as soon as this goes through, we're going, we're moving. But it doesn't happen for months and months. And this project that I'm a part of, that we all believe will be sold to somebody and made, it just, you know, it gets pushed back because this person's schedule all of a sudden blows up. And this person's schedule blows up. And you have to wait for a little bit longer. And so I'm in a holding pattern with all that stuff while trying to work on this stuff and get something to work in connection with each other. It's all very interesting. And yeah, I don't know. It's trying to get it to work is very difficult sometimes. And it can be discouraging. But if you can find a way to make it work and you love what you're doing, don't give up. Don't. At some point, it might not work. You might have to go another route. But even then, you can still, you know, work on this other piece that you really do enjoy and you think can make money or whatever at some point in order to support yourself or your family or anything like that. I've had so many jobs and I've had so many bosses that didn't really see the potential that I had for helping build a business. And that to me is the most discouraging thing that I've encountered in my life. I'm a very smart individual. I'm intelligent, and I understand how things work in a way that a lot of people don't. And don't get me wrong, I'm very, very stupid when it comes to certain things. It may take me 20 times to figure something out, where somebody else it'll take 2 times, and they're like, "Oh yeah, totally, I get this." But I persevere through, and I ask questions constantly, and I try to learn as best I can. And because of that, I'm able to intelligently figure things out. And yeah, I make mistakes. Yeah, I come up with stupid ideas. Yeah, it's all that. But that's part of learning and growing. And I've always had a problem with failure. I've always seen failure as a personal thing that it's my fault. I suck. I shouldn't have tried. Because I obviously didn't do it well enough. And so when I was growing up, when I felt like I was failing at something or wasn't going to be as good at something as I should be, I would quit. I don't want that for my kids. It's not healthy. So I persevere now. When I try something, I try it for a while. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's not a failure. I had a video production company, and it went for a couple years, and then I couldn't get clients. I couldn't make it work, and I had to shut it down, and technically it was a failure. But I learned from it, and I learned a lot from it. I learned how to do things on a budget and figure out, okay, well, I don't have this fancy equipment, so I'll do this piece of it. Um, Nerd McGee, hey man, just lurking here while I cook some chicken. Fantastic. Well, thank you for the lurk. I've got about 10 minutes left in this episode, and then I'm going to take about a 15-20 minute break, and then I will be back streaming Fortnite after this. But you can always, take a look at this vodcast on YouTube or wherever, on YouTube or Twitch, my Twitch page. It'll be up there too. But yeah, so I don't know. It's a very interesting and intricate thing, and my brain tries to solve all the problems all at once, which causes more problems sometimes because I don't take the time to get all the processes in order. So that's something that I'm learning also. So I stream. I don't think I've taken a day off of streaming in over a month. I think I've streamed at least 3 hours every day for the last month. This is how serious I am about this. The consistency is very important. And it's very interesting because the streaming is only a small portion if this is something that is more than a hobby for you. The streaming is a small portion of building. You need to network. You need to... Here's my advice. I'm newer to streaming, yes. And so there's definitely a billion things that I don't know that could probably help me, which I would love any advice. I watch for people giving advice, and I look at people's advice, and a lot of it I'm doing. And but my advice to new streamers who are coming into this, wanting to do something with it, one, make genuine connections with people. Genuine. If you make a genuine connection with somebody, they're going to remember you, and you're going to remember them. That's huge. Two, consistency. You have to be consistent. If I say I'm going to be on at a time, circumstances happen. Extenuating circumstances happen. You get sick and you're throwing up. You're not going to stream. You don't, because you have a stream coming from your mouth. But you're not going to stream at that time. So the consistency is let your viewers know that. Let the people know. Go on Twitter, or Facebook, or however you communicate with the people who watch you on your stream. You can even put a little panel underneath your setup, your live video that says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm sick, I can't stream tonight. Really sorry, I'll be back tomorrow," or whatever. Back to the regular streaming schedule. But if you're inconsistent, if you put up a schedule or you say that you're going to be on at this time and you're not multiple times, and you don't have any explanation, you don't tell people why, or you don't have to go into detail if it's a personal thing or whatever, but if you don't communicate with the people that are interested in watching you and learning and seeing and being entertained, they're going to stop watching you, because they're going to go, I don't know if he's going to be on at this time. He says he is, but I don't know. Because there's many days where there's no stream at all when it says that there's going to be a stream. So that consistency is huge. And so make genuine connections with people. Consistency and having fun. That's people are gonna have more of a connection to you if you are genuinely enjoying what you're doing. There are many times when I've seen people who, and I've been that person, where you're doing a job just to do the job because you need to do the job. And you get so wrapped up in that your interaction with people becomes very null. It doesn't exist. And you have to, with something like this, it's video games, guys. You get to play video games and have people watch you and interact with you. That's awesome. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. So you gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy what you're doing. Because if you enjoy what you're doing, it will translate to the people watching you, and it will excite them to want to go out and do stuff that they enjoy doing. And, oh, if this guy can do this, or this girl can do this, then I can do it. I can do it. Just like they're doing it. So you get that genuine connection again. Genuine connection, consistency, enjoy what you're doing. And then I had another one and it disappeared from my brain. Let me think for a second. The other thing is communication with your chat. That's what it is. Communication with your chat. So what's really important with this is I see on Twitter all the time people posting, hey, I went into 5 different streams and I said hi, and I waited 5 minutes to make sure the lag wasn't, too much, that they would definitely have an opportunity to see that I said hi, and they didn't respond, they didn't react at all. And they go, so I'm never going back to those. You've got to interact. That's the whole point of this. If you're not going to interact, you might as well just record yourself playing video games and put it on YouTube. Honestly. If you're not going to interact with the people who are watching you live, then just record yourself playing video games, put it on YouTube. Or Vimeo, or wherever you want to put it. Because the point of live streaming a video game with a chat box on the side is to interact. People feel wanted. They feel a part of something. When they chat in the box, they say something in the box, and the person that they're watching that they've never met probably in real human life looks over and goes, yeah, man, that's great. That's wonderful. Hey, how are you doing today? Yeah. People really, it allows them to be in that space. If you don't interact with your chatters, with the chat, with the viewers, if you don't interact with them, it loses some spark that makes live streaming special. I saw another one that was, if I go into your chat and you only respond to your regular viewers, I will never come back to your stream. Chat with everyone. The more traffic that you have coming through your channel, with viewers and chat and all that, the more of that you have, it's going to be difficult, but you can keep up as best you can. You can take a break for a few minutes from the game you're playing to catch up and go, oh yeah, okay, cool. And people understand that the more chat that's in the box, the less they're going to, it's not going to be as plausible that the streamer's going to see everything. But that's also what mods are for. You have your moderators who go into the chats and they go, this is an important message, or this is something that the streamer would really like to see, and stuff like that. And you have that interaction, the communication between the streamer and the mods, and it's a way for you to continue interacting in a valuable way. And I have 2 mods. One of them is a streamer. His name is Harp's Death Song, and he has been a fantastic help to everything that I've been doing. He has taught me an immense amount about streaming and what it all means and all that kind of stuff. And the other one is my brother, who I'm hoping at some point to make enough money to be able to hire him to work with me, because the plans that we have, that we want to accomplish and do, are far reaching. It's more than just streaming. It's more than just filmmaking. It's more than just television making, like shows and building that. It's a multimedia idea that we have that we can bring people into. And that's the other piece of this. I'm watching streamers. I'm watching people. I'm seeing how they interact, how they the intelligence that they show, and their artistic skills and abilities that they bring to the table. And my hope is that someday I can have a company, a multimedia company, where I can go, hey, I've been watching you for 2 years. You have talent. Would you like to come work for me? I want to be able to do that. That would be amazing to me. To be able to, I mean, it's like kind of like a job interview without it being a job interview. I don't know any other way to put it. For someone like me watching people, I can see how they interact. I can see how they act. I can see when they overreact and what they do. Do they throw things? Do they rage uncontrollably? That's something that would need to be worked on. But, that's human emotion. That's human interaction there. Me, I try not to get too upset. I realize it's a video game. I do get frustrated sometimes, but you know what? Like I said, at the end of the day, it's a video game. And I get to have people watch me play video games. That's crazy. So, wow, I have been going for an hour. That is crazy. That went by so fast. So, that's what I wanted to talk about this week. Someday in the future, you will all interact with me. Because I really do want questions. I really do want interaction and your comments and your stories and your thoughts and all that kind of stuff. I really do. It makes it so much more fun. And someday, one of these days, it will happen. I know it will. And we're gonna have the chat going insane. I won't even be able to keep up with it, because everybody's interacting with each other and talking and giving advice and asking questions and all that. So, if you're really enjoying this, and if it's not detrimental to your health or the health of your relationships or the health of those around you, keep doing it. Keep going. In whatever capacity you can. Entertain the living crap out of people. That's what I'm trying to do. So thanks for watching, for hanging out. And I will be back on in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, streaming the video games. So come back, hang out, talk, chat. I'd love to hear from you. So, until that time, 15, 20 minutes in the future, have a good night, and I will see you in the future.